One of the most anticipated cures, if not the most anticipated cure of this season, is finally with us. Cure Chocolat's debut in episode 6 was great, and it made a very, very good episode. To me, it wasn't better than episode 5. Cure Macaron's debut, and I absolutely adore Cure Macaron. She is my queen. She is my flawless queen. But I have to say, this episode was great and it had great moments, even though there were some pretty low moments for me as well. But let's just talk about them. First of all, we were introduced to Akira, a tomboy character, a tomboy girl, but we were kind of kept in the dark about her gender. I mean, we, the viewers, the Precure fans, we know that Akira is a girl. And way before the series started, I remember when we first saw her, there were some serious doubts about her gender, but when the first texts came out, they were very explicit in saying that Akira was a girl, and she had a sister and everything. But in the episode itself, there was kind of this doubt about her gender, specifically because it was a plot device to make Ichika fall in love with her, and that was kind of what the plot was for this episode, right? Ichika was totally in love with Akira, and well, it was kind of the first love Ichika experienced. I mean, we just got to know Ichika, but from the way that she acted and from the way that the characters acted in the episode, it was the first time that she actually felt this kind of feeling. And well, you know, being in love is nice, especially when you're young, when you're like a teenager and your head is full of dreams and you still haven't experienced disappointment and all those things that lead to a jaded view of relationships that older people can have. When you're young, everything's beautiful, everything's fine, everything's great, and you fall in love easily. And that's what happened with her. And you know, I have my problems with the kind of narrative that some anime do when a female character falls in love with another female character, but she actually thinks that that character specifically is not a girl. And that's because everything about that character visually is coded as male in society. So the clothes that character wears, the way the character talks, the tone of voice, and you know, the way that the character generally acts. And you know, that's all about Akira. You know, Akira is a person who has lots of identity marks that are identified as male in our society. And well, you know, we live in a Western society and the Japanese society is very different, but I think that when it comes down to those things, it doesn't really seem that they're very different from us in this aspect. But there is something very important to say. When it comes to masculinity in Japan and to what women usually like, or what media shows that women like, you know, when they're targeting women, they do it with a specific type of men, the ikemen type. They're young, they're beautiful, they're tall, they're gallant, and they are most of the time very educated, they treat you very well. And that's what happens when they want to create a female character that all of the other girls are gonna fall for. You know, they create this stereotype for women. So yeah, this is kind of an ikemen. That's what they call ikemen, right? So that's what Akira is. That's what Akira is. This is the type of character that she is, and she's coded that way. And I particularly don't see it as a problem. I like seeing female characters that are not inside the mold that is usually that's usually the thing for female characters, and it's nice to see female characters that are not feminine, specifically in the Precure world, which exudes femininity all the time. And I love Precure for that, but it's nice to have a little break, and it's nice to show that every girl type is normal, you know. And well, you know, I don't think that Precure does that all the time, but well, let's let's just bring something different to the mix, right? We had tomboyish precures before, but not like Akira. And well, yeah, the episode itself was kind of nice, it was kind of funny, and it was very interesting because the other girls, they noticed that Akira was a girl way before Ichika did. Ichika didn't notice it until the end of the episode. And it was funny because along all of the episode, we had like a realization moment for Yukari, and then later on we had a realization moment for Aoi and Himari when they were together. But Yukari noticed it right at the start. She didn't have any doubts, but she let it go on because Yukari is Yukari. She is a perfect cat, right? She just let Ichika believe in this perfect idea of a man in Akira. But this realization moment for Aoi and Himari bugged me a little bit. And it was specifically because when Ichika was creating the chocolate for Akira, she did that little house with the dog because of Akira's personality. And Akira said that was very cute. And Ichika said, cute? Not cool? You know, because when you're a boy, you're not supposed to find things cute. You're supposed to find things cool. And right at that moment, both girls noticed that Akira was a girl just because she said it was cute. That is a kind of a stereotype that is, well, that's just a stereotype, right? That's a stereotype that boys can't find things cute and girls are the only ones who can find things cute, and if you find things cute, you're not really a boy, you're falling out of the spectrum. But, okay, let's move on. Let me just talk a little bit about the Precure part. When this season was starting, I was very disappointed because of the lack of fighting. You know, I was very disappointed because there would be no physical fighting, and I am still missing the physical part of Precure, but there is one thing that I think this season is doing really right, which is the cream powers. The cream powers are great, and simply because when we had Mahotsukai Precure, we had physical fights, but the fights were poorly animated, they were really bad, and then they just skipped to the stock footage, to the stock animation of the attack, of the form that they were using in that episode. That was very boring. But in this season, they don't have finishers yet, so in each episode they're using the cream powers differently. And it's very nice because it's nice to see them using the powers in different ways. And basically they're using their powers to protect or attack, but anyway, it's not the same animation every episode. They're using their powers differently, and that's very nice. I am liking that a lot. That is something that is surprisingly good for me. And when I'm doing GIFs, I mean, there's always something to GIF from every episode, from the fights, because they use their powers in different ways. And that's amazing. And another thing that happened in this episode that was very nice was that when I saw the preview for this episode, I was afraid that Yukari would not show up, or maybe would just show up as a background character, like in one scene or another. But she actually showed up a lot, and she showed up in the fight in a very nice moment. I loved the way she transformed, and I loved the way she used her powers. And there was a little thing that I thought it was very nice. The monster was able to defeat the girls very easily, and it was able to defeat Yukari, Kira Makaran, easily as well. But she is so elegant and she's so graceful that she didn't just go flying like the other girls. She was able to withstand the attack. That's how posh Kira Makaran is. That's how posh she is. Victoria Beckham would be proud of her. Thank you. And let's just talk about Pure Chocolate. What was that transformation? Wow, I thought it was amazing. And you know, chocolate is something that is not very easy to use visually. I think that when it comes to using whipped cream, custard, ice cream, it's easier. Macaron is hard as well, but you know, the other ones are easier to use in a visual way. But chocolate, I wasn't expecting it to be used in the way that it was. And it was amazing. It was used as hard chocolate and melted chocolate as well. So it was great. And I loved how her transformation works. And I love that scene that she goes like this with her hat. she is very elegant and she's very gallant as well. And I like how her uniform is not as feminine as Precure usually is. This is something that goes missing in magical girl shows, you know. I miss that in magical girl shows because, you know, I think that magical girls should embrace all types of girls. So the girls that are not feminine should also be embraced in magical girl shows, and they usually are in some shows, but in Precure not so much. So that's why I think Chocolat is so important. There are tomboys in Precure, but there are few. And okay, so Chocolat was amazing. Her transformation is amazing, except for the last part in which she is showing herself, the dekiagari part, that she's moving her arms. I think that they were trying to give a little graceful, gallant moment, like a gentleman moment for her. But it didn't really work out, right? It was kind of odd. It was odd. And but it doesn't ruin the transformation, and the transformation is still amazing. Not better than Cure Gelato's transformation. Cure Gelato's transformation still holds the best place for me, but Cure Chocolat was the best. Was the second best, and her transformation is boss. And the way she fought was also amazing, using her nose. It's basically something that dogs do a lot, and I loved it. And it was amazing. I really liked Cure Chocolat, and I think that she's going to be a great character. I am now very curious to see how her relationship with Yukari is going to develop, because we know, at least from the promo images, that they're going to be very close to one another. I don't know if they're just going to be close because they're the oldest, or if there's something else. I hope that this something else happens. I'm really, really hoping for it, but I don't know. I don't think that Precure will go there. I said it lots of times. I don't think Precure will go there, but I won't hold my breath for anything. So if it happens, I'm happy. If not, I'm happy as well, because this season is being great. Next episode, it seems that we are going to learn more about Pekuni, we're going to learn more about the fairies, we're going to learn more about the villains, and finally, we might have a little insight on KIRAKIRA Precure's story, because it's lacking so far. We already have the full team, we already have 5 girls, the team is complete, I mean, except for Cure Parfait, who's going to enter down the line, but I'm waiting anxiously for episode 7, because I think that this episode will clarify a little more of Precure's story, of this Precure story. And I don't know, I think there is one bad point about this episode, apart from the gender thing, which is the monsters are very strange. First of all, we have a team of 4 girls who were not able to beat a monster, and then the 5th girl who just appeared was able to defeat it like that, easily like that. I mean, it's not making sense. The fights are not making sense. Inside the Precure spectrum, it's not making sense. They have done this before. You know, other cures were introduced in other seasons without having to dumb down the cures, the actual cures in that scenario. You know, they are dumbing down the girls for the girl of the episode to shine, and that's not really necessary. They could have written better those scenes. Those scenes could have had better ideas, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense. But okay, I want to listen from you. Let's talk about this episode. Please share your opinions on episode 6, on Cure Chocolat, and on everything else that happened this episode. Did you think that Cure Macaron was amazing as well? Okay, I'm gonna focus on Cure Macaron every episode, sorry. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!